Cheryl. Gusto ko pong ibahagi ang ating pong lesson ngayon at naway maging isang blessing ito sa atin. Gumagawa ang kaaway, pero nagtagumpay ang aking Panginoong Hesus. Amen. So ang ating topic ay the handwriting on the wall at tinimbang ka ngunit kulang. Dito po sa MPUC ay gumawa po ako ng isang program, tinimbang ka ngunit labis. Yun naman po, Ma'am Rose, yung mga ka-workers ko sa buong union at sa iba't ibang mission ay yung mga sobrang overweight at saka obese. Kaya sabi ko, kapag sa the end ng 10 buwan ay nakapagpababa ng 10 kilo, ay tatanggap sila sa MPUC ng 5,000 mula teacher man yan o pastor. No, kasi nga ang aking program ay tinimbang ka ngunit labis. Pero itong topic natin ngayon, tinimbang ka ngunit kulang. Ano? Tayo manalangin. Dakilang Ama na makapangyarihan sa lahat, maraming salamat po ngayong umaga. Binigyan kami ng pagkakataon na muli po'y mag-aral ng inyong salita. Nawa Panginoon ay maging karanasan po namin ang patnubay ng Espiritu Santo. Ito po ang dalangin namin sa pangalan ng Panginoong Hesus. Amen. So our topic today can be found in the book of Daniel chapter 5, the whole chapter. And ang sabi ko nga po ay the handwriting on the wall. Okay? Tingnan natin ang ating pong timeline. Sa Daniel 1, atin pong nalaman mga kapat, para nare-review po tayo, 605 BC. Itong Judah ay under ng Babylonian control. So ang first wave ng kanila pong captive ay si Daniel, Hananiah, Misael at Azariah, no, na pinalitan ng kanilang mga pangalan. 600 BC, si Nebuchadnezzar ay nagkaroon ng panaginip at hindi niya ito ma-recall ang panaginip at ito po ay hindi rin niya mabigyan ng interpretasyon. So doon nakilala ang mga anak ng Diyos, doon pala sa Daniel 1 pala, no, sorry, ay nakilala na ang bayan ng Diyos sapagkat sila ay hindi kumain ng pagkain ng hari at hindi sila uminom ng inumin ng hari. So makita natin ang kanilang katatagan, tumayo sila sa kanilang pananampalataya at pananaw tungkol sa health message, ano po, at sa health laws na kanilang pinanghahawakan. So pagdating ng Daniel chapter 2 ay pinakita naman sa atin dito ang isang hari na pagano doon sa Babylon na nagkaroon siya ng panaginip pero cannot recall the dreams, and at the same time he cannot get the interpretations of what the dream he had. Kaya po dito ay at sabi nga po ay almost all the Babylonian Chaldeans, astrologers, soothsayer will be annihilated. But then ginamit ng Panginoon ang 4 na Hebreyo, sila'y nanalangin, sila'y nagayuno, at doon ibinigay kay Daniel ang mga panaginip ni Haring Nebuchadnezzar kasama ng interpretasyon. Yun po yung Daniel chapter 2. Pagdating naman po ng Daniel chapter 3, 587 BC, tingnan nyo ang timeline ito po ay Nebuchadnezzar 18th year, ika-18 taon. He makes an image of gold and demands all bow before it. That time naman sa Daniel chapter 3, hindi natin makita dito sa narrative si Daniel, ano po, hindi natin nakita. At dito ay na ano naman po, no, na dumaan po sa malalaking pagsubok si Hananiah, si Misael at Azariah. Bakit? Sapagkat una sa lahat, naglagay ng decree itong si King Nebuchadnezzar na kapag hindi kayo sasamba, hindi kayo yuyuko doon sa ginawa niyang statute, no, represent lahat kayo, no, pinainit ng ilang beses ang pugon at yun ang nagbukas ng pugon namatay, di ba? No, itinapon sila. At ipinakita sa atin sa Daniel chapter 3 na ipinakita kay King Nebuchadnezzar look like the son of God. So dito natin makikita na tumayo itong tatlo kay amoy ng usok, ng apoy, ni kaprasong damit nila, ni buhok ay walang nasunog. At sinamahan sila ng Panginoong Hesus. So, ang sumama kay Hananiah, kay Misael at Azariah ay si Jesus. Kasi sabi ni King Nebuchadnezzar, he looks like the Son of God. So, ibig sabihin, ang kasama roon ng tatlo sa pugon ay ang Panginoong Hesus. Okay. Okay. Dito naman, ay sa chapter 4 ay pinakita sa atin dito mga kaibigan during 587 BC. Ano po ang ipinakita sa atin dito mga kaibigan sa ating napag-aralan sa mga nakaraan? So ngayon, titingnan natin mga kapatid ang timeline nito. Okay? Nebuchadnezzar died in 562 BC after ruling 43 years and succeeded by his son. Itong ang pangalan ay si Merodach. At ito'y makikita natin sa Jeremiah 52 verse 31, 2 Kings chapter 25 verses 27 to 30. No? At itong si Evil Merodach ay nag-rule ng 2 taon, 562 to 560 BC. At yung makikita natin sa 2 Kings chapter 25 verses 25 to 30, Jeremiah chapter 52, 31 to 34. At it was murdered in August 560 by Neriglizar. Ito po yung Nebuchadnezzar son-in-law at si Evil Merodach na brother-in-law. So, yun po ang mga pangyayari sa ating timeline para may background po tayo. Itong si Neriglizar, nag-rule po ng 4 na taon, 560 to 556 BC. At ito naman po ay na-mention sa Jeremiah 39 verse 3 and 13. At doon sa kanyang kamatayan ay he was succeeded by his son John Labashi Marduk, who ruled 2 months between May and June on 556 BC. No? BC po yan. Tingnan natin ang background po. Itong si Labashi Marduk was assassinated at sinaksidid naman siya ni Nabonidus. Nag-reign ito ng 17 years between 556 to 559 BC. So ito po yung ating timeline. But during 553 BC, Nabonidus went to the oasis of Taima and devoted himself to the worship of the moon god Sin. So yun po ang mga nila. He appointed his son Belshazzar as ruler of Babylon in his place. So ilang salin na po, no? Ilang salin po ito. Napakahabang salin na kung makikita natin ang timeline. So hindi basta-basta po kasi sa ating pong Book of Daniel, hindi naman po ipinakita po ng mas detalyado no po yung mga pangalang na sino po ang sumunod sa kanila, po, pero ganito po ang history natin. You can read this in Seventh-day Adventist Bible Commentary. At syempre po, marami tayong ginamit dito na mga books upang makatulong po sa ating pong pag-aaral na ito. No? Okay, for years, ang mga historians ay alam natin, they knew nothing about Belshazzar. So many po sa mga biblical critics pointed to Daniel chapter 5 as evidence against the accuracy of the Bible. Yan ang pagkakamali nila. No? Akala nila ay ang ebidensya po nito ay wala daw pong sinasabi na tungkol kay Belshazzar. Pero hindi nila nalalaman na mayroon pong natuklasan ang mga archaeologists. Itong tinatawag ko na Nabonidus cylinder o Nabonidus cylinder. In 1853, inscription in stone were unearthed by archaeologists which revealed that Nabonidus o Nabonidus sa English much of the time was in retirement outside of Babylon and that Belshazzar, his son, was co-regent. So, yung ating natuklasan na history, yung nalagay sa Bible, at yung pong natuklasan ng mga archaeologists ay nagpagpapatunay po na may ganito pong mga pangalan at ito ay nangyari at ito po ang nakaka-amaze. Itong cylinder ni Nabonidus na natuklasan po ng mga archaeologists noong 1853 ay patuloy po nilang pinag-aralan kasi po may mga nakasulat dyan, hindi naman English, hindi rin Hebrew, no, hindi rin po Aramaic, at lalong hindi po Greece, o Greek. No, nung pinag-aralan po ng mga archaeologists ang cylinder nito ni Nabonidus, ay na-amaze po silang lahat. No, it has been deciphered. There's a lot of biblical and biblical scholar at mga archaeologists na pinagtulong-tulong nilang ma-decipher kung ano ang nakasulat doon sa natuklasan po ng archaeologists na kanilang nakuha doon sa ilalim ng lupa. At ito po ang pinakamaganda sa lahat na nagpapatunay na hindi po sinungaling ang Biblia sa lahat ng mga nakasulat sapagkat ito ay kumakatawan at sumasalamin doon sa kanilang Biblia at sumasalamin po sa history at sumasalamin po sa sa archaeology. So ibig sabihin ay yung tatlong ito ay nagsanib puwersa upang maitayo ang katotohanan ng salita ng Diyos. Grabe, no? Ganun po ang Panginoon. Tingnan natin, As Paul Belshazzar, my firstborn son, my own son, ito po yung ito yung let the fear of your great divinity be in his heart, and may commit no sin, may he enjoy happiness in light. Nabonidus entrusted the army to his oldest son, his firstborn, the troop in the country he ordered under his command. He let everything go, entrusted the kingship to him and himself, and he started out for a long journey. The military forces of Akkad marching with him, he turned, sabi nga po mga kaibigan, ay into a deep pagtuklas, at ito po ay nagpapatunay na totoo ang Bible. No? Nabonidus returned in 547 BC to defend against the Persian. So di ba alam niyo man, ang Persia po ngayon of Medo-Persian Empire ay Iran. Ang Babylon po sa ngayon ay Iraq. Kaya makita natin dito na totoo po ang mga narito. No? In 539 BC, Belshazzar was positioned in the city of Babylon to hold the capital while Nabonidus marched his troop north to meet Cyrus. No? October 10, in 539 BC, Nabonidus surrendered to Cyrus and exiled. So ito po yan po ay nasa history. Then 2 days later, on October 12, 539 BC, the Persian armies overthrew the city of Babylon. So ay ulitin ko, no? Sumugod na po si Cyrus the Great during the time ni King Darius. So yan po yung nasa Bible. No, hindi pa ipinapanganak si Cyrus, isinulat na po siya ni Jeremiah. Alam niyo yung ganun ka-amaze ang Panginoon na si Jeremiah po nagsulat na tungkol kay Cyrus. Ngayon, that time, ang hari po, tandaan niyo, ang hari ng Medo-Persian Empire, that time wala pang Medo, kundi Persian palan. Nung hari noon ay si Darius the Great. No? So ang ginawa nitong si Nabonidus, naalala niyo yung cylinder, di ba? Yung na natuklasan, dinicipher yon at kinumbert po sa Hebrew, kinumbert sa English. Nag-surrender po siya noong October 10, 539 BC. Pero 2 days after ng October 10 na pagsuko nitong si Nabonidus, ay ang mga Persian armies pumasok po sa lungsod ng Babylon. No? Anong ginawa po nila? Kasi ang Babylon po, hanggang ngayon, kung tayo pupunta ng Iraq, ay may dalawa pong river, twin river. Tigris, nasa Bible yan, nasa history yan, kahit i-google ninyo. Ang Babylon po ay may twin rivers. Ang pangalan ay Tigris, at Euphrates River. Yan ang twin river. No, twin river po yan ng Babylon. So ang ginawa nila, yung tubig po, naggawa sila ng dike. Kumbaga po, naggawa ng dike. So, naiga po ang tubig ng Euphrates River at sila po nakakubkob. Nag-march sila doon sa ilog na yon at pinasok po nila ang Babylon. Ang Babylon that time, sila po ay nagpipiesta, nagkakaroon ng festivities. So sa panahon na sila po ay mga lasing na sa alak, lasing na sila sa alak, pumasok po ang mga sundalo ni Cyrus the Great sa pangunguna po at niya, at syempre po dikta po ito ni King Darius, ni King Darius. Kaya that time, alam natin mga kaibigan na pagkasuko, pumasok sila, Hindi po sila basta pumasok doon. Gumawa sila ng strategy na mapasok po nila ang Babylon na hindi namamalayan. Kasi that time po nga, lasing na ang lahat, Sila pagod sa kanilang mga festivities, At hindi niya akalain na ang tubig ng Euphrates River ay ginawa ng dike na kumbaga po nare-route ang tubig at nakapagmarcha po ang mga Persian armies sa Babylon. Ganun po ang nangyari, mga kaibigan. History yan. Daniel 5, the Word of God gives us a powerful example of human hubris that end in a stunning and dramatic way. Though one could say that it takes Nebuchadnezzar a long time to learn his lesson, at least he learned it. But his grandson Belshazzar does not. In using the temple vessel in a palace orgy, Belshazzar desecrate them. Such an act of desecration is tantamount not only to a challenge of God, but an attack on God Himself. So dito natin makita, no, kakaiba po, no? Sobra po. Thus, Belshazzar fills up the cup of his iniquities, acting in ways similar to the little horn, which attacked the foundations of God's sanctuary. By removing dominion from Belshazzar, God prefigures what he will accomplish against the enemies of his people in the very last days. So the event narrated in Daniel chapter 5 took place in 539 BC. On the night Babylon fell before the Medo-Persian army. Here occurs the transition from gold to silver predicted in Daniel chapter 2, and once more it becomes evident that God rules in the affairs of the world. So, di ba, yung statues na pinakita po kay Haring Nebuchadnezzar, yung ulo ay ginto, ang katawan at dibdib nito ay ano po, yun po ay silver. Pagkatapos po ang pangatlo naman po ay bronze, ang pang-apat po ay iron, at ang panlima po sa toes po ay sa combinations of clay and iron, no, that it cannot live together. So very exact po ang mga prophecy na binigay po ni Daniel, ano, doon kay Haring Nebuchadnezzar. Tingnan natin. In Daniel chapter 5 verses 1 to 4, Belshazzar the king made a great feast for 1,000 of his lord and drank wine in the presence of the 1,000. So yun po, no, uminom siya, no, at nagbigay ng piging, no, itong si Belshazzar. At si Belshazzar, kung ating pong titingnan nga, ay apo na bali siya po ni Haring Nebuchadnezzar. Tingnan natin. And Babylon at that moment, being besieged by Cyrus' army, Belshazzar's name means Bel, Marduk, has protected the king. This peace was in honor of his gods in a time of war. Belshazzar felt safe within the massive walls. Kasi tinan nyo saan kayo makakakita na yung wall ay 85 feet by 350 feet with supplies to last 20 years. So, ibig sabihin po, kahit hindi sila magtrabaho, kahit hindi sila magbungkal ng kalupaan, ang kanila pong supplies ay lasted for 20 years. So, ako, wala akong nakitang ganitong bahay. O kahit man po ang ating mga presidente, no, sa loob ng 20 years, hindi lalabas para magtrabaho, nandoon na lahat. Ganun po katindi. At ang mga structure po, ang structure, meron na ba kayong nakitang ang wall po ay 85 feet by 350 feet? Ba, matindi po yan. Kumbaga po, makapal na siya at mataas. Pero yun nga po, no, lahat ng bagay ay may panahon. May kanya-kanyang panahon, and it will just come to pass. No? The king commands that the sacred utensil of the Jerusalem temple be used as drinking vessels. Ito ang medyo matindi po ito. No, kumbaga, hindi po ito ginawa ni King Nebuchadnezzar, no po, na paglaruan at sirain. Kumbaga po parang binaboy po, no, yung sacred utensils na kinuha po nila sa templo, no, ng Panginoon, no. At sabi nga po, but he places them in the house of his God, which show that at least they respect their sacred status. Yun ang ginawa po ni King Nebuchadnezzar. Hindi niya to ginamit para paglaruan at sirain ang kabanalan, no? Pag-inuman ng mga alak. But Belshazzar turned the sacred vessels into drinking utensils in a most profane way. So matindi po ang ginawa po nitong kanyang apong si Belshazzar. While drinking from the sacred vessel, Belshazzar lords praise the God of gold and silver, bronze and iron. Ito kumbaga, kumbaga, kung kayo po ay maalala po ninyo, ano ang pinopoint dito ni King Belshazzar? 'Di ba yung statute, 'di ba naalala niyo yun? Na made of gold, yung statute na pinakita po kanino? Kay King Nebuchadnezzar, no? Doon sa Daniel chapter 2, 'di ba na? So ibig sabihin na ipasa sa kanya ang katotohanan. Pinasa kay Belshazzar ang lahat-lahat na naging experience ni King Nebuchadnezzar. It is worth noticing that 6 materials are mentioned. The Babylonian used the sexagesimal system, which is based on number 60, in contrast to the decimal system used today, which is based on 10. Na po. Tingnan natin. Thus, the 6 categories of gods represent the totality of the Babylonian deities and therefore the fullness of the Babylonian religious system. Interestingly enough, the order of the materials followed the order of component of the dream statues of King Nebuchadnezzar, except that wood replaces the clay. As in dream, stone appears last, although here is designate the material compositions of idols. Stone also evokes God's judgment upon worldly empires which Babylon symbolizes. These pieces serve as an apt representations of ancient Babylon as seen in the book of Revelation. Like Belteshazzar, the woman in end time, Babylon holds a golden cup and offers polluted drink to the nation. In other words, by means of false doctrines and distorted worship system, modern Babylon lures the world into evil oblivious to the judgment that will soon fall upon her. One day, judgment will come. So if you will notice, mga kaibigan, mga kapatid, no, na kung paano pong ginamit po ni King Belshazzar, no po, yung cup na ginagamit po sa templo ng mga priests o high priests during the time po ng Old Testament, no po, ito namang sa New Testament, kung naaalala po ninyo, 'di ba, meron pong babae na may dalang cup, no? At ito yung makikita natin sa Revelation chapter 17 and 18, no? To be exact, pag-aralan niyo yan, at yan naman yung mapapag-aralan natin pag nasa Revelation na tayo dito. So it means na ang mga dalang turo ay mga false doctrine, no? Yan na natin. Daniel chapter 5, verse 1 to 2 and 4. While he tested the wine, King Belshazzar gave the command to bring the gold and silver vessel, which is Father Nebuchadnezzar 1. No, sabi, Nebuchadnezzar 1 and 2. Ito na pinapatungkol dito, yung kanyang, yung kanyang lolo, had taken from the temple which had been in Jerusalem, that the king and his lord, his wives, and his concubines might drink from them. Timo, pwede namang gamitin yung mga gamit nila roon sa kanilang, siyempre, yan kaharian, siyempre may kanya-kanyang gamit. Pero naalala niya, mga kaibigan, yung kanyang, naalala niyo, Nebuchadnezzar 1 and 2, no? Naalala niya yung nakuha ng kanyang lolo na pinasa sa kanyang tatay, yung tatay ipinasa ang lahat ng mga pangyayari dito sa kanyang anak na si Belshazzar. So ito yung mga things na mga temple na desecrated. Ito na po, no? Belshazzar ordered vessels taken from the temple in Jerusalem. 2 Chronicle 36 verse 10. He wrote that they may drink wine from them in honor of his God. Yan po ang natin, verse 2. Nabonidus, Belshazzar's father, was probably Nebuchadnezzar's son-in-law, making him Belshazzar's grandfather. No, bakit parang ang gulo-gulo po? Hindi magulo. Tandaan ninyo, no, walang pong pagkagulo dito dahil yan po ay nasa ating history, no, at siyempre po sa Bible. Ito po ang pinakamatindi sa lahat ng kasalanan ginawa. No, ito na. Belshazzar took that which was sanctified for a divine use and prostituted it to a common and debased use. So, kumbaga po, no, tayo minsan hindi tayo conscious, pagka meron po tayong Santa Cena, ay ito ang maling-maling ginagawa ng karamihan. Una, no po, yung lamesang ginagamit ay hindi pwedeng gamitin sa ibang gamit. Kung kayo nagpapatlak, dadalhin nyo yung pinagpatlakan nyo table, mali po yun. So, ang pinakamaganda po sa lahat, may sarili pong table, no po, na yun po ay nadidismantle para po pagdating po ng Santa Cena natin, no, Lord's Supper, Communion Service, ay doon lang siya gagamitin. O pangalawang mali rin po sa atin, ano, minsan yung natira po doon sa cup na na-bless naman po, pinapainom pa kasi nanghihinayang. O inom pa po, round 2. Meron pa nga daw, round 3 pa ha. Yan. Pangatlo, mali po rin sa atin. No, pasensya na po. Iinom ng ating Welch juice pero hindi naman po nagpuput washing. Yan po kasi ay kaya nagpuput washing, yun po ay sign of humility, reconciliation, and forgiveness. Kaya lang sa atin po, ang nangyayari, no, ay pasensya na po ang nangyayari talaga to personal ko tong nakikita, no, nakaupo sila sa loob, pagkadating na po ng foot washing o pit washing, hindi po nalabas. Pero pagdating na po ng bread at saka nung Welch juice, saka sila iinom. So ito po yung mga desecration to. Huwag natin yung pahintulutan. No, pang-apat, yung mga ginagamit po sa Santa Cena, lima po yung planggana, yung yung ating pong mga towel, lalo na po yung mga ginagamit na paglalagyan po ng wine at saka ng tinapay. Hindi ho yan pwedeng ipapahiram sa ibang church o kasi wala pa po kami, pahiram naman po, hindi pinapahiram. No, hindi ho dapat yan yung pinapahiram. Panlima po, hindi pwedeng gamitin sa ibang pong mga gamit o planggana. O teka, hugasan mo nga yan at tayo ay marami tayong lulutong gulay. Gamitin natin yung planggana. Parang awa nyo na po, wag nyo pong gagawin yun. Sorry ha, kasi ako po talagang pagdating sa ganan, ay mahigpit po ako. Kasi nag-aaral tayo ng Bible, ay lubos-lubusin na po natin. Kumbaga po ay ikarir na natin dahil ang ating pinag-uusapan dito ay ang kabanalan. No? Kaya yun ang mga bagay na dapat natin tandaan, lalo na pagka po tayo nagsasanta Sena. No po? At maaari siguro ninyong itanong, ang mga bata ba pwede pong mag-Santa Cena? Hindi pa sila pwede. Dahil lalo na po yung wala pang kamuwang-muwang, ay hindi pa sila pwede. At minsan may mga magulang na nagkokonsentidor para lang nagtatantrum ang anak, batang-batang anak, nagtatantrum, ayun, bibigyan ng tinapay, bibigyan ng juice. So mali po yun. Huwag ho tayong ganoon. Nawala na sa atin ang kabanalan, parang awa nyo na. So ganito po mga kaibigan na nangyari po, no? Doon sa lugar po ng Babylon. Ito pa, no? Pinakapangit pa dito, he used that vessel to honor the name of his God, further insulting the one and only true God. Yun ang no? Yun ang ginawa po niya. So, napakapangit ang ginawa ni King Belshazzar, no? At ito na ang masama. Verses 5 to 9. The fingers of men's hand writes a message on the wall. Hindi po ito basta yung mayroon pong sumusulat, talaga pong kamay, no? Maaari itanong mo, kaninong kamay yon? Kay Jesus ba yon? Kay angel ba yon? O sa Diyos Ama ba yon? Mamaya kasagutin natin yan. The king is terrified. So Belshazzar summoned the wise men, the enchanters, the astrologers, and diviners, promising to reward whoever could interpret the meaning of this strange phenomenon. None could. Verses 7 to 9. Bakit hindi niya naalala si Daniel? No, may pride no, may pride. At pinahanap niya ang lahat ng matatalinong tao ng Chaldean sa buong Babylon, ang mga enkantador, ang mga manghuhula, no? Lahat ng yan. At ni isa roon, walang maka-interpret kung ano ang nakalagay doon sa wall. As Nebuchadnezzar does in previous crisis po ito, no? Belshazzar calls the astrologers, the Chaldeans, the soothsayers to clarify the mysterious writing, and to make sure that they give their best, the king promises them extravagant honors, purple clothing, a color worn by royalty in ancient time, yun po ang binigay niya. Second, a chain of gold, which was a sign of high social status. And the third one is the position of third ruler in the kingdom. So kumbaga, pinangakuan sila, ito ang aking pabuya sa inyo, matapos nyo lang ma-interpret, no, kung anong ibig sabihin nakasulat doon sa wall, no? This last reward reflects accurately the historical circumstances of Babylon at that time. Because Belshazzar was second ruler as co-regent with his father, Nabonidus, he offers the position of third ruler. But despite the tempting rewards, the sages once again fail to provide an explanation. No one could explain, no one can interpret what was written in the wall. Kaya, kumbaga po, makita natin dito na ano po, no, parang disappointed po si King Belshazzar, no? Pero tingnan nyo ha, anong mangyayari. And on top of all his sins, then the king attempts to find wisdom in the wrong place. The Babylonian expert cannot uncover the meaning of the message. It is written in their own language, Aramaic, as we shall see tomorrow sa ating pag-aaral, but they cannot make sense of the words. This might remind of us that the Lord speaks through Isaiah. For the wisdom of wise men shall perish, but for the God, yun po'y ganun. So makita natin dito mga kapatid, ano, ang ating pong pag-aaral. Okay, Daniel chapter 5 verses 10 to 16. So let us try to find out. May pong invited, no? At ito ay kinilala do isang queen. Kasi alam nyo, kapag ka po nagkakaroon ng festivities, usually po, parang pinaka-late nang ini-invite ang mga reyna, lalo na po, kumbaga sa atin po, ay for the boys lang, no? But then what happened? Tingnan natin, ha? Probably, Belshazzar's mother, Nistrosis, Nebuchadnezzar's daughter, no? In 2 Chronicles chapter 15, verse 16, and of course, in Daniel chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Si knew Daniel, he has the spirit of the holy God. So kilala niya, siyempre nabalitaan niya yun, nalaman niya, naranasan niya, na-witness niya. Yun po, ang karanasan ng 4 na Hebreyo at naalala niya at kilala niya si Daniel. She knew of his insight, intelligence, wisdom, verse 11 yan ha, knowledge, understanding, and ability to interpret dreams in verse 12. So dumating na po yung ano, no, habang lango na sa ang iba sa kalasingan. Pero syempre, ipinakita nga po yung tinatawag na pagsulat ng Diyos doon sa wall. Naalala niya sino? Si Daniel. Ito na tayo. Then Daniel was brought in before the king. And the king spoke, said to Daniel, Are you that Daniel who is one of the captives from Judah, whom my father the king brought from Judah? I have heard of you that the Spirit of God is in you, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom are found in you. Now the wise men, the astrologers, had been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known to me its interpretation. But they could not give the interpretation of the things. And I have heard of you that you can interpret and explain enigmas. Now, if you can read the writing and make known to me its interpretation, you shall be clothed with purple and have a chain of gold around your neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. So yun po, no? Ang kumbaga po ay parang pang reward po kay Daniel. Ano po ang kaya ang ginawa ni Daniel? No, yung first wave, tinanggap ba niya agad ito? At bakit niya tinanggihan? At bakit niya tinanggap? Tingnan natin ha, napakaganda po tong kwentong ito. No? At nakinig yung hari doon sa kanyang inang reyna, no? Ito na. As the banquet hall is thrown into confusion because the mysterious message on the wall, of course, the queen comes and provides directions to the befuddled king. She reminds the king about Daniel's ability to interpret dreams and solve mysteries has been demonstrated during the time of King Nebuchadnezzar. So if Belshazzar were as smart as his predecessor, he would have known where to turn to find the meaning of this mysterious writing. The interventions of the queen proves necessary for the king, who at this point seemed utterly at a loss as to what to do next. Her words sound like a rebuke to Belshazzar for having overlooked the only person in the kingdom who can interpret the mysterious writing. So the queen gives the king an oral resume of Daniel. No, talagang ano po, no? Kumbaga po sa atin, pag mag-a-apply ka ng trabaho, nasa ng iyong resume, nasa ng CV mo, no? So itong Reyna po Reyna, no? At yun ang kanyang mother ay ibinigay ang resume sa pamamagitan ng kanyang pananalita. Una, the prophet has the spirit of the holy God. So alam at kilala ng Reyna. Number 2, light and understanding and divine wisdom. Pangatlo, excellent spirit. Pang-apat, knowledge. Panlima, he is capable of understanding. Pang-anim, interpreting dreams. Number 7, solving riddles. Number 8, explaining enigmas. No, ito po. Pang-siyam, he was the chief of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayer in Nebuchadnezzar time. Kasi nga, di ba, lahat sila natalo ni Daniel, dahil ang Panginoon nasa kanya. So ito yung oral resume po na binigay po ng Reyna doon sa hari. At this point, we again wonder why Belshazzar had ignored Daniel. So the text does not offer a direct answer to these questions, but we presume at this time Daniel, after serving the king at least until the 3rd year of his reign, is no longer in active service. No, yun po. One factor could be Daniel's age. He's probably around 80 years old at that time, according to Bible commentary to Zion, and the king may have wanted to replace the old leadership with a younger generation. The king may have also decided to ignore Daniel because he did not want to commit himself to Daniel's God. But whatever the reason or combinations of reason, it remains striking that someone with such a portfolio, yung resume niya, as Daniel could be forgotten so soon. So parang agad-agad nakalimutan itong anak po. Pero alam natin mga kaibigan, iba pag gumawa ang Panginoon. Ang Diyos pagka gumawa po, hindi natin kayang tanggihan. Pag gumawa ang Panginoon, walang kaya pong pumigil. Katulad kanina, almost 20 minutes na akong talagang gumagawa ng paraan naman. Pero akala ko po talagang hindi na matutuloy tayo kasi tinawagan ko pa yung isa kong kaibigan, si Ma'am Christy, para magsabi sa inyo na maaaring di na ako matuloy. Pero alam niyo po, ang Panginoon gumawa, biglang may dumating po, Kaya walang po pwedeng makapigil sa gawain ng Diyos kapag ang Panginoon po ay tinataas natin. Amen? Eto na tayo, verses 17 to 24. But Daniel rejects the king offer, but will reads and interpret for free. Verse 17. And Daniel summarizes God's dealing with Belshazzar's predecessor, Nebuchadnezzar, in verses 18 to 21. Given his position by the Most High God, he became arrogant and proud. Itong hari, So God humbled him, stripping him of his throne, Learned his lesson and praised God. Mga kapatid, yun na natin. Forced by circumstances, the king resort, kasi wala na Wala na siyang last resort na lang niya si Daniel, to consulting Daniel. but he seemed to do so with reluctance. This may tell more about the attitudes of the king toward the God of Daniel than toward Daniel himself. In turn, Daniel's response to the king's offer of reward says a lot about Daniel's priorities and character. It also likely that Daniel, knowing the meaning of the mysterious words, realizes just how worthless the reward really is. No, sapagkat alam niya, hindi mo na kailangan pa ang reward na yon. Bakit? Kasi alam niya na matatapod na ang Babylon. So wala na siya kapangyarihan, mawawasak na rin naman siya. So actually hindi siya interesado eh. No, pero mamaya makita natin ano, tingnan natin. So Daniel then indicts the king on 3 counts. First, Belshazzar totally has ignored the experience of Nebuchadnezzar. Otherwise, he would have repented and humiliated himself like his predecessor. So, dapat natutunan niya yung lesson na yun. Naging karanasan ni King Nebuchadnezzar. Pangalawa, Belshazzar has used the temple vessel in order to drink wine and to praise his idol. Here, Daniel mentioned the 6 kinds of materials used to make idols in the same order noted previously. Third, the king has neglected to glorify God, the one who holds your breath in his hands and own all your ways. No? So talagang matindi po itong si Belshazzar. Having addressed the failures of the king, Daniel proceeds to the interpretation. Now we learn that the divine gravity consists of 3 Aramaic verbs with the first repeated. Their basic meaning should have been known to the king and his sages. Mene, counted, tekel, weight, peres, divided. So there is a pride of King Belshazzar, who knew the Nebuchadnezzar's story and should have learned from it, but instead he did even worse. Openly challenged the Lord of Heaven. Tinan nyo ha, doon sa sinabi niya sa, kung papansin po natin, we can see and compare Daniel chapter 4 verse 37 compared to Daniel chapter 5 verses 2 to 3, verse 4 and verse 23. No? Kita natin yan. So they have no life, but a contrast, the true and the living God held Belshazzar life in his hands. Ito na. And if you have lifted yourself up against the Lord of heaven, they have brought the vessel of his house before you. You and your Lord, your wives and your concubine have drunk wine from them, and you have praised the gods of silver and gold, bronze and iron, wood and stone, which do not see or hear or know, and the God who holds your breath in his hand and own all your ways, you have not glorified. So dito very frank po, no, very straightforward si Daniel, no, very straightforward. Yung Diyos mo, yari sa ginto at pilak, yari sa tanso at sa bakal, yari sa kahoy at yari sa bato. Tapos yung aking Panginoon ay inaalipusta mo. Grabe po si Daniel. And this is the inscription that was written, which is actually written in Aramaic. Mene tekel of her sins. So this is God's judgment. Verses 5:25 to 28. Mene, God has numbered your kingdom and finished it. Tekel, you had been weighed in the balances and found wanting. Of her sin, your kingdom has been divided and given to the Medes and Persian. God has set limits on Belshazzar's kingdom. Belshazzar's moral and spiritual character did not measure up to the standard of God's righteousness, so he was rejected. And because of the degradations of the king and his kingdom, God would terminate the Babylonian Empire and give it to the Medes and Persian, which is Medo-Persian Empire. And now, Medo-Persian Empire is pure Iran. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 34. So Daniel received 1/3 of nothing. Belshazzar lost his life and kingdom that very night. His kingdom was divided between the Medes and the Persian. So whatever his fault, Belshazzar is a man of his word. So despite the bad news, he's satisfied with the interpretations given by Daniel. which why he bestowed upon the prophet and the promised gift. It appears that by admitting the truth of Daniel's message, the king implicitly recognizes the reality of Daniel. So interestingly, alam natin now, Daniel now accept the gift he has refused before. Why? Probably because such gift can no longer influence its interpretation. Besides, at that point, such gifts are meaningless since the empire, yung Babylon, is about to fall. Thus, probably as a matter of courtesy, the prophet accept the rewards, knowing all the while that he will be the third ruler of the kingdom for only a few hours. Exactly as announced by the prophet Daniel, Babylon falls. It does so quickly, while the king in his courtyard during the city falls without a battle. And according to the historians, Herodotus, the Persian dug a canal to divert the Euphrates River and marched into the city of the riverbed. That same night, Belshazzar is slain. His father, King Nabonidus, has left the city already, surrendering himself later to the new rulers. Thus, the greatest empire humanity has ever known to this point comes to an end. Babylon, the head of gold, is no more. So Belshazzar has been given many opportunities for knowing and doing the will of God. Ito po yung writings ni Ellen White. He had seen his grandfather Nebuchadnezzar banished from the society of men. He had seen the intellect in which the proud monarch gloried taken away by the one who gave it. He had seen the king driven from his kingdom and made companion of the beasts of the field. But Belshazzar's love of amusement, self-glorification, effaced the lesson he should have never forgotten. And he committed sins similar to those that brought signal judgment on Nebuchadnezzar. He wasted the opportunities graciously granted him, neglecting to use the opportunities within his reach for becoming acquainted with truth. Kapag ang sabi ni Ellen White sa Prophet and Kings, page 536, the history of nations speaks to us today. To every nation, to every individual, God has assigned a place in his great plan. Today, men and nations are being tested by the plummet in the hands of him who makes no mistake. All are by their own choice, deciding their destiny, and God is overruling all for the accomplishment of his purposes. That's why life is not a matter of destiny, mga kaibigan, but life is a matter of choices. What is your choice today might what bring you condemnations or cursing, blessing, no po, and righteousness. So everything is in the hands of God. We cannot outsmart God. No po, yun po talaga. So makita natin dito ang malaking history. So anong lesson natin na mali-learn? God's words is truth. Folly of idolatry, false God cannot save or protect. The danger of misusing things which belong to God. Yan. Pati po ang ating ikapo, kung talagang ikapo yan, wag nating i-divert ang ikapo. Yung iba po, no, ay ikapo yan, iipunin ko to para makapagpatayo ng church, mali po yun. Ikapo ito, iipunin ko to para magpapaaral ako sa Pilipinas, mali po rin yun. Ikapo to, iipunin ko to, magpapatayo ng school, mali po yun. No? Ang ikapo ay ikapo. Pwedeng hawakan ang ikapo pero hindi pwedeng galawin. So the danger of overconfidence, no? Second Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. The importance of knowing and applying the lessons of history. God weighed the nation as well as the heart of each one of us. No po? What else? One may have everything in this world has to offer, but if we fail to honor God with all we have been blessed with our words, where are these, with our bodies, we have nothing and will receive nothing but eternal loss. No? Let's not wait for the hands writing on the wall to tell us it is too late, that judgment has been passed and the sentence is final. Humble yourselves before God and obey him today. So 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 6 to 11. No, so we are always confident knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by our sight. Remember, ating ilagay ang ating buhay sa kamay ng Lion of Judah. Walang iba kundi si Jesus.
Purihin ang Diyos sa isa na namang makapangyarihang pag-aaral ng Biblia. Nawa ay tumimo po sa ating mga puso ang mahalagang mensahe ng Daniel Kabanata 5 na ang Diyos ay banal, makatarungan at matiyagang nagbibigay ng babala bago dumating ang kanyang hatol. Ang nangyari kay Haring Belshazzar at sa kaharian ng Babylonia ay isang paalala sa atin na ang buhay, kapangyarihan, kayamanan at lahat ng pagkakataon ay ipinagkakatiwala lamang ng Diyos sa tao. Darating ang panahon na ang bawat isa ay titimbangin sa harap ng Panginoon. Kaya habang may panahon pa, piliin po nating magpakumbaba, magsisi at lumapit ng buong puso sa Diyos. Huwag nating ipagwalang bahala ang kanyang mga babala, kundi pakinggan natin ang kanyang tinig at sundin ang kanyang banal na kalooban. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panunood. Kung kayo po ay pinagpala ng pag-aaral na ito, pakipindot nyo lang po ang like, share, subscribe at ang notification bell para hindi po ninyo mamiss ang iba pang mga pag-aaral ng Biblia. Nawa po ay patuloy tayong maging handa sa malapit ng pagbabalik ng ating Panginoong Hesukristo. Maranatha, si Jesus ay malapit nang dumating. Pagpalain po tayong lahat ng Diyos.